Alrighty. Hello, hello. New studio set up temporarily. Okay. So this is a live stream. I used to do channel news on Wednesdays. My name is Patrick. The channel name is Jack Crafty. Hold on, I gotta get my glasses. Anyway, this is a time where I do napping on video and answer questions and try to look at the chat all at the same time. Yeah. If you are curious about something I might have done uh, on YouTube on video, you can type in Jack Crafty and whatever you're looking for and do a search. I've got over 2,000 videos, mostly on Flintknapping, mostly with indirect percussion. Hey, hey, Alan Cole is here, Keith Ricketts, Tommy Taylor, and Jesse Para is here. They're all here, right on time. Alan wins. Door prize, golf clap. That's your door prize. Matthias is here. Hello, hello. So yeah, let me know if there's anything wrong with the connection. I'm a little bit further away from the router this time. I'm trying to set up a permanent studio, so I cleared out this little room that I used to sleep in. Now it's become office slash studio. I had to move my all my other stuff out of here, and hopefully not too. It won't get too messy in here. And I might actually be able to nap a little bit of obsidian in here. Although I hate to do it, but it's the law of the West. Yeah. I got a package today. Billy B is here. Hello, hello. Yeah, he called me Jack, but you can call me Patrick or Jack. Some people call me Mr. Crafty, but that was a long time ago. Alina is here. Hey, hey. Let's see. I started a little bit late because I was trying to get this curtain set up back here. See this? It's a little bit too dark, so hopefully you'll be able to see. I chose a dark material to nap, but I'm so pale that my, the lighting washes out, and I still can't get it clear. See the movement is blurry. I would have to have the light right on me, and with the background pretty pale, I suppose. I could change the background next time. I'll be messing around with the studio, try to get it just right. So yeah, what do we have? What do we have here? Who do we have? Sam Folks is here. Hey, hey, Patrick, the feed looks really clear. Okay, good. Buckskin NYB is here. Looks like the rock I sent finally made itself over there. Yeah, let's see. Yep, right here. I got it today. Unboxing? You want to do the unbox? Want to do an unboxing? Yes, yes. Yeah, Marty sent me the box stuff. Let's see what's in it. I have not opened it. I just know it's duct tape and shop towels or shop paper towels. It's very well wrapped, and it looks like some kind of chert. Let's see. Let's start. Okay, shall we? Yes, we shall. Jordan's here. Ask for corn is here. Hey, what's up? What's up? People are. Let's see. We got 15. People are rolling in really fast. Yes, yes. So we're gonna try these out. I just got a package from Marty. Yeah. Hmm. I got it today and I opened it up just before I started the live stream. Yeah, let's see what this is. What is it? It's a rock, dummy. Yeah, I know. Oh, it looks like root beer. It's got some translucency to it. Can't see, of course. Hold on. Where's my. Ah, there it is. I've got something that can show the translucency. There it is. See, everything now is within reach because I've got all my Flintknapping stuff here. So hold on. I'm going to see how translucent this is. If I can get a good flake without ruining this beautiful material. Is that it? Yeah, that's one. See? I can't see. There, see? It's translucent root beerish looking stuff. This one is anyway. All right, so look at it in wonderment and awe. It's so nice. Yeah, let's see. Oh, it's tough. Okay, hold on. Mike Tuff's bopper. There, that did it. Yes. So this is going to be interesting to nap on video later on. Yep. Okay, what else we got? Is it all the same? Oh no, what this is Knife River flint. Isn't it? Let me see. Keith says AFC is here. Yep, early. Jesse says more rock gifts. I'm hoping Patrick never has to buy rock again unless he wants to splurge on something exotic. I want some of that spiderweb and Armenian obsidian. Yes. Justin's here. Hey, Tommy Taylor's here. AFC, did you drop one of them dolphins in some oil? What? Let's see. Alan says, smash the like button. Yes. Ralph's here. Ralph Snyder. Hello. Yeah, hit the like button. Yep. Always. Let's see. I think this is Knife River Flint. Yes, that's what it looks like. Yeah, I said it was root beerish, right? Yeah, no, but it's Knife River Flint. And some nice nodules. Let's see. See? Okay. This is too good for me, right? So I'm going to save it. It's too good to mess around with and just wing it like I normally do. I got to be careful with this stuff. Yeah, I can get some good flakes. Look at it. So is that what it is? All of it? That'd be nice. That's the rock I've been learning on. I picked it up around the shore of our lake. I'm about 29 miles north of the actual Knife River. Yeah, this is Knife River stuff. So you learned on this? This is good stuff to learn on. Because at least it's responsive to the hits. Yeah. It's tough raw stone, right? Like agate. It reminds me of Texas agate or Texas root beer, the hard type of root beer. Well, that one had an existing crack in it. It's not supposed to break that way. Yeah. So it had an existing crack. But look how dark that is. Yeah, see, I can get some flakes. So if you learned on this stuff, how far along are you? I don't remember seeing pictures of this. Let's see. Ashia says, nice. Jesse says, thanks, Keith, for the early release of the hounds. Yeah, look at these nodules. All right. Nice. It's nice because I don't see a lot of cracks. There's some, but not a lot. Yeah, Marty, I can't remember if you sent me pictures of this stuff that you've napped. Maybe you have. Yeah, it's all the same stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this away for now so I don't break it. Just in case, because I don't want them all to look like this. This is a voila, but it's not the right kind of voila. That's the wrong kind of breakage. Okay, so put that aside for now. Very well packaged. Looks like they all survived. All right, so this is heat treated, what he calls dacite. This was from I can't remember. I mean, I think I know who it was from, but I don't want to make a mistake. I can't depend on my memory. But see how that chips? Much more rough. Let's see. Noise. Hello, Keith. Everyone says hello. Everyone. Sal is in the house. Hey, just got here. And Keith, I hit the like button. What's going on? I got a box of Knife River type flint from Marty from Buckskin NYB. He sent me a box. Yeah, it just came today. Just came in the mail today. So I'm going to try knapping some of this stuff. This dacite stuff. What is probably what's supposed to be called dacite. It's heat treated, but it's really rough. It's not glossy or nothing. It's like a rhyolite. Let's see. And I can't remember if he told me how hot he heated it. I'm tempted just to nap around the edges and just make a biface, but if I can get some spalls off of it, it'd be better. It'd be better. But no, this is just a little bitty. I'm going to use the Mike Tufts massive bopper. Very heavy, but it's not going to work. I got to swing. This is not yielding at all. I'm hitting right there with full force. There it is. So I can probably make stuff out of this. I'll have to show it close up on video because you probably can't see. Okay. Little bitty flakes for all that effort. Yeah. We got some flakes flying across the room. See? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, if I was in a bad mood, this would kind of tucker me out and get my frustrations out on this. Yeah. Too bad I'm not in a bad mood. This would be a pretty quick fix. Yeah, because I need to smack the crap out of this. Goodness. I'm afraid to hit it as hard as I need to. Let's see. So Sal says, okay. Marty says, I emailed you some pictures. Okay. Sal says, I'm spalling some amoeba for a heat treat. Cool. Mike Mason, what's up, Mike? And everyone who isn't named Mike. Red-Eyed Patriots here. Mike 2. Let's see. Mike Mason is Mike 3. If Mike, I can be 3 if Mike Tufts gets here. Yes. I'm hitting this hard. Yes, I am. What's up, rock slangers? Not drug related to any newbies. Yeah. YouTube has a problem with the word rock in the title of videos. Yeah. So I got to be careful how I put rock in the title. You might also get confused with music, right? So I try to put stone in the title rather than rock, but it doesn't always work. I forget. So I'm hitting this really, really hard because it's not cooperative, not really. To get it thin is probably going to be close to impossible. Yeah. That was fun while it lasted. I don't think I'll nap the rest of this on video right now. I might do it in a close-up video. This is getting everywhere. Yeah, I have to hit this really hard, and it naps like a brick. Yeah, it feels like the surface of a brick. Can you see it? See the surface? It feels like a brick, and it's the same color almost. It's supposed to be that side, but it's heat treated. For those of you who just joined in, this is heat treated stuff. Yeah. I've seen guys hit stuff like this with wood. Yeah. I could never do anything with wood. Not on stuff like this. I mean, you got to hit it extremely hard. I'd rather use copper or steel. And I don't feel the shock on my hand because I'm trying to use the mass of the object against itself. So I'm hitting fast so it doesn't shock the piece. If I was hitting slower, I could feel it on my hand a lot more. I'm the opposite of what most nappers would think or say. They say, slow it down, use something heavier. Use a heavier bopper and slow it down. I say, no, use a little bit lighter and speed it up. I say use a little bit of a lighter bopper and speed it up rather than a heavier and slow it down. Do both techniques work? Yeah. But with the slow down method, you've got to support it more. So you got to do this, put it on your leg. You got to have a big old fist. Maybe put another rock in your hand, hold 2 rocks and then do that so you can get more weight in there. It's just, I don't like to deal with all that extra stuff. So I just use a smaller bopper and speed it up. Let's see. Of course, it takes its toll. Yeah, the flicks don't travel. That one went almost to the middle, almost, and created the land bridge. Okay, that cleared it. That one took that flake right there. That hit took that flake. But so that's going to have to be the procedure on this one. Just massive hits ruining the bopper. And the angle has to be steep to get a good, strong place to hit. Steep. Not shallow, but steep. So I got two boppers here, 9 ounce and 6 ounce, I believe. Let's try the 9 ounce. It's not as accurate as a lighter one, but I got to hit faster with the lighter one. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I could chip around the edges on that one, but it leaves a step fracture when it's thin. See that? So when it starts to get thin, that's what's going to happen. Yikes! All right, so at least I know I can nap it. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to put that aside, and then we're going to continue. I was doing this on the last live stream, I think. Right? I think this is Amoeba Chirp from Sal. I don't know if I was doing this on live stream or not, but is heat treated? No. I can't remember if he heat treated this. Probably not. It's a piece of Amoeba Chirp. Okay, let's see what I missed. What did I miss? I'm going to look at the chat here. Okay. Alina says, I started to record rock napping during step walks. I need to edit and flood YouTube as you guys do. Oh, yes, definitely do that. Alina lives out on the step. STEPPE. Let's see. Lost Ponies here. Michael says, you should, Alina, if you enjoy it. Yeah, no doubt I do. How else could I get here? Weirdos rejoice. Let's see. Yeah, all these angles on the platforms are all 56.2 degrees, in case you're wondering. Ed Gould is here. Sure does heat treat well, doesn't it? I suppose. But yeah, I think this one is raw. This one is the heat treat. If you think this naps well, um, you got to put your glasses on or stop smoking whatever you're smoking, or both, because your eyes are fooling you. This is not easy to nap. Whenever I get a good flake, people go, "Oh, that's napping pretty good, isn't it?" No. Now let's see. Red Eyed Patriot says, "Indeed, enter the I'm not retarded, but I like rocks meme." Let's see. Thomas H is here. Hello. E Money is in the house, says Keith. Yes, he is. Jordan says, haha, Cam Peterson likes rocks, but ain't retarded. Who's Cam Peterson or Patterson? Cam Patterson? Sal says, those big pieces of amoeba are not heat treated. Okay, good to know. So this is not heat treated. I'll be napping this here in a minute. I'm going to catch up with the chat. Let's see. Keith says, I was napping a point today, but it dropped and it rolled away. You got to stop napping them almonds and footballs and marbles. Roy's here. Hey, hey. Alina says, step is prairie, but in Eurasia. Yes. Red Eyed Patriot. Or Michael says, Jordan, that's a funny show. Another of good comedy on there. Sal says, Keith, that's funny. Chris Bacon is here. Hey, excuse me, sir. I had a question. The tools you use, is that high stick thing an Ishi stick, a thigh stick thing, an Ishi stick? Also, side question, all I have around me is basalt and quartz. What should I do? Send me an email to jackcrafty2@gmail.com and I'll answer whatever questions by email that you have. The stick that I use depends on which videos you've been watching. I'm just using a solid copper rod now behind my knee, but I've used a high impact or high molecular weight plastic with an insert like a copper rod or a steel rod insert and put that behind my knee. I've used that before too and hit on the plastic. But you can also put a long rod in the plastic and hit the rod. Okay, it depends. Some people can't hold a slim rod behind their knee. I'm lucky, I guess. I've got enough meat right there in my calf that I can do this. And also, I sit low. This thing that I'm sitting on, it's only like a foot off the ground. It's a little 5-gallon Craftsman container. See that? 5-gallon Craftsman bucket. And I got one of them trucker seat cushions. Yeah, that trucker seat cushion costs a lot of money, in case you're wondering, but it's well worth it. So 3/8 inch copper and 5/16 inch copper rods are what I'm using now for indirect percussion, but I have used 1.25 diameter ultra high molecular weight plastic like this. It comes in white or black. You drill a hole and you put a rod in there. You can also put a set screw in the side, but I never use set screws. I used to just wait until it got loose and then I put a piece of leather in there and then stick the rod back in and it would tighten it up. Or I'd stick a piece of wood in there next to the copper or next to the steel and it would tighten it up. But then I stopped using the composite flakers. Composite means it's made of more than one piece. And I just got lazy and started using just the rods by themselves. Okay? And I've always used this as a mallet, the same ultra high molecular weight plastic for a mallet when I was hitting the ultra high molecular weight plastic rod with the insert. Okay. Um, so use ultra high molecular weight plastic mallet or antler for striking, not wood. You can use a steel pipe if you want, but you need a little bit of a shock absorbing material, slightly shock absorbing. It works a lot better. But I've used steel pipe to hit with, but I just don't use wood because it's too shock absorbing. It's got to be in that sweet zone. It can't be too hard and not shock absorbing, and it can't be too soft and excessively shock absorbing. It's got to be in the middle. Okay? Where am I? Where am I? I have testing basalt. It's very hard to get good flakes. John Delar says, I've been testing basalt. It's very hard to get long, yeah, long flakes. Okay, so Chris Bacon, send me an email to jackcrafty2@gmail.com and I'll answer questions. Jordan says, Cam is a stand up comedian who carries rocks in his pocket. Okay, John Delar. Thomas H. I'm at work, but trying to sneak in some live stream time. All righty. AFC says, Jordan, LOL. The whole Cam Patterson liking rocks thing smells of stolen valor round us here in this posse. Yeah. Ralph says, Keith, it rolled away. Yeah. When Keith made a joke earlier, whenever he drops one of his work pieces, they roll away because they're all they're marble-ish. All right. Roy Browski says, I'm still trying to figure out how to get the courage to drive the highway to the Knapping in Tyrone. Yeah. Just do it. Michael says, it's from the Kill Tony show, stand up comedy with new contestants and panel of comedians. Funny ASF. Mike Mason says, Pat's response to Ed has me laughing out loud, hanging on the back of a truck going down the road. How can you be listening or watching while you're hanging on to the back of a truck going down the road? What are you up to? Pat's response to Ed, okay. AFC says, guys, we got to make and sell a from under the crankle grip indirect flaker for the big girls. I just want my cut for the idea. What does this mean, though? I got to understand what it means before you get a cut. Let's see. Jesse says, the Sweetwater marble had me almost piss myself. What are you talking about? Let's see. Michael says, good stuff, Jordan. Trump and Biden routine with Shane Gillis had me dying. Gillis? Shane Gillis? I can't see the chat. Let's see. Jordan says, he nailed it. I laughed nonstop. AFC says, yeah, Shane Gillis' Trump character is on fleek. What is that? Ralph says, for those of us with chicken legs, use a Kelly strap to hold the indirect stick. Yeah, I got a video that shows what I call a Kelly strap. Just type in Jack Crafty Kelly strap, hit the search, and you'll find it. Alan says, I know this Jack guy. He uses a ball peen hammer and a screwdriver to nap in a pinch. Yeah, I've used all kinds of stuff in a pinch. I remember one time I told someone I was a flint napper, and they said, "Oh, can you make something?" And We had nothing. It was kind of like a get together. So I broke a beer bottle and I was napping with a nail and something else. And he goes, "That's what you use?" No, I'm at a get together. I just wanted to show you what I do. It's not what I use. People ask the funniest questions. I use something similar when I'm napping. Well, what do you use? Look, I got a YouTube channel if you want to look. Ah, okay. Well, look later. Just show me what you're doing. Yeah. So I napped a little arrowhead out of a beer bottle. Uh, Keith says, Alan, does that Jack guy also occasionally use pliers? Yeah. I still have to demonstrate. When I first started napping, I used a pair of pliers and a screwdriver. Yeah. And a hammerstone to nap. Little agates. Little bitty stones. My sister has little agate stones, maybe 1/4 the size, in her driveway, and in her on not her driveway, but next to the driveway along the front sidewalk as landscaping. These little agate stones. So when I first started napping, when I go over to her house, I'd go, "Hey, those things can chip. Can I chip some of those?" Yeah. And in my van, or my car, I usually carry my toolkit, so I would just get my pliers and my screwdriver out. And she had hammer stones in the landscaping as well, so I was banging them together. And she goes, "You can make stuff out of that?" I said, "Yeah." "Okay, take whatever you want." Don't tell me that because I will collect all of your landscaping and you'll go, "What?" Yeah. Let's see. I digressed a lot and I missed something. Uh, Talking about this other comedian. Shane is hilarious and really educated on history. Hmm. Roy says, I'd like to go to one Patrick is going to be at. Yeah, the only napkins that I go to are the ones in Texas right now. And I missed the last one. I couldn't make it. I helped one of my daughters buy a car, and I spent all my savings except for a little bit of it. Like I spent like 75% of my savings, and I have 25% left for my trips in the fall. Okay, so I couldn't go, and I missed my grandson's birth. But my daughter had a hard delivery, so I was kind of going, okay, it's all right. We'll just let her recover. Yeah, the delivery was pretty bad. I mean, she had to uh, recover from surgery because she had an emergency C-section. Anyway, I still need to go down there. But when I go down, I'll let everybody know because I'm passing through Arkansas and Missouri and New York, and I'm passing through a lot of states. So I'll let people know when I'm going south. I'm up in Vermont right now. Yeah. Let's see. So if you want to go to Napa that I go to, the next one I'm probably going to is going to be in Letchworth, New York. And the one after that I'm going to is going to probably be the one in Texas. The only one that is a large nap-in Texas. It's called the Heart of Texas Nap-in in Brady, Texas. There are other nap-ins in Texas, but they're small get-togethers, private nap-ins, 6 or 7 guys. That's about it. Let's see. Jesse says, Pat got you some bronze rod and a whole bunch of goodies. You building a care package. All righty. Let's see. Oh, dang, I missed a bunch of chat. Okay, Mike Tuff's in the house. Yes, now we're rolling. Now we're cooking with gas. Yay. All right. Let catch up with the chat here. I'm going to skip some of the commentary and just get to the questions and stuff. Let's see. Mike says, in my time, Mike was the most popular name. Once upon a time, so was Jesus. Which one of us is going to get nailed? Let's see. AFC Ask for Corn says, Red-Eyed Patriot, I mostly agree. He is way too generous with the accolades he gives that old drunk USS Grant. What? Other than that, I haven't disagreed with his history take so far. Okay, we're still talking about the comedian. Mike says, LOL, Ed, if you're referring to my laughing, it was about how good that heat treat is or isn't. Yeah. Mike Tuff says, well, I'm the oldest of the Mikes, I believe, so I'll probably go first. Mike Tuff is Mike number 4. Who's Mike number 4? Yeah, Ralph says, Mike Tufts is here. I was concerned we'd send Ohio State Police to do a wellness check on you. Yeah. Jordan says, 36 viewers and 23 likes. Yeah, what's up? We got a slight imbalance. Roy says, prayers all go out to your daughter and grandbaby. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, they're recovering nicely. Both are doing well now. Yeah, the baby was in distress too, so they had to do an emergency C-section, but it was okay. Everything worked out. Yep. Alan says, release the hounds, Jordan. Yeah. Jesse says, Keith Jordan is regulating. He's letting his hounds out. Yeah. Sal says, Mike T, I did a welfare check on you. Did anybody show up? You called it in, Sal? You got to make sure you call in a pizza first, and then they'll get nervous. Yeah. Let's see. Mike Tuff says, thanks, Ralph. I'm just really busy helping a buddy run his business while he recuperates. Well, that'll get you busy in a hurry. Keith says, yep, he is helping out since my hounds are chasing the marble I dropped earlier. Mike Tuff says, the only thing came to my house was the Jehovah's Witnesses. Sal says, that's who I sent, the Jehovah's Witnesses. Jesse says, Sal, was your thin biface yesterday done with steel indirect, or was that a different metal? Different metal, probably. I don't know. Alan says, I'm recovering from that last night's ER shift. I got about 3 hours of sleep before the live stream. Dang, Alan, 3 hours? I can't function on 3 hours. The hounds are hungry? Yeah, for likes. Hit the like button. Unless you are, you're arthritic, which is fine. You don't have to hit the like button. Or if you're missing your index fingers, because, we all are missing something. I'll cut you some slack. You don't have to hit the like button. Or if you don't want YouTube to promote this video, just go, I'm not going to hit the like button. YouTube's not supposed to promote videos like this. Yeah, this is a weird side of YouTube. It's like watching a train wreck. That's why I'm here. If that's you, you don't need to hit the like button. The train wreck watchers, yeah, you don't have to hit the like button. So what am I doing? This is a piece of amoeba chert. It's high-grade chert, interspersed with some defects. I mean, some defects are or dispersed within this. I can't see that well. I got a bunch of lights set up all over the place, overhead and around the sides, and I got my window open, and all the blinds open, and they still blurry. But anyway, and I still can't see exactly what's going on. I'm going to try to thin this down. Okay. And if you can't see, that's pretty normal. If you can't see what I'm doing, it's pretty normal. If you don't know these angles, they're all 52.6 or 56.2. Either one is fine. It's always the same answer. People want to know the exact angle. When I've told them over and over again, it's never the same.
Yeah, but I want to see the angle.
Yeah, but it's never the same. I shift it around a lot.
Yeah, but I still want to see the angle.
Why do you say the angle?
Because it's the angle.
All right. Since you think it's just one angle, it's 52.6 or 56.2. There you go. People don't say, especially new guys, they don't say, I want to see the angles, plural. They don't realize that there's angles and there's slight tweaks. And what's the rule? Even though it doesn't rhyme, a subtle difference makes all the difference. Even almost imperceptible differences can make a big difference in the flaking. Yes. I just lost about a quarter inch off the tip because I'm striking too hard. I don't need to strike hard at all with this stuff. Okay. I'm going to put this larger, this is a 9 ounce. Yeah. Look at just with that thing I was napping earlier, I really banged this thing up. So I'm going to go back to the 6 ounce. Yeah, see, that's what I like. See that? Voila. It didn't go all the way across. Okay? That's what it should do. It should go like 75%, and that's it. Because that'll give you, an edge on this side. You can work your way in from the other side. If you blow across and get an overshot, you eliminate potential striking areas besides messing up the profile of it.
Yeah, but I want it narrow because I'll nap like the Clovis guys. Narrow.
Yeah, if you want something narrow, you just need to trim around it until it gets narrow. Then you can strike big old flakes off. But don't strike them so that they overshoot. The overshoot is going to mess you up. And unless you're one of those guys that says,
It's controlled. It's not an overshot. It's a controlled coast to coast flake.
okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Is there such things as controlled coast to coast flakes? Yeah, there is. But who's doing those? Under what circumstances? And for what reason? I would argue that many times those are done just for entertainment purposes, either to entertain themselves. Holy moly, where'd that go? Or to entertain the audience. Yeah. If you're getting flakes that go like this, that's good enough. In fact, that's really good. I think. It took me years to do the Goldilocks zone on the length of the flakes, not too long, not too short. The hardest thing to predict is the ending of the flake. So I don't try to predict the endings of the flakes. I just want to be able to make a contour a surface that's smooth with nice flake contours. I'm missing a bunch of chat. But I want to get this thing thinned down a little bit. Okay. Yeah. See, I prepared it for this. Can you see? I'm going to do a little butterfly thing. Come on. There it is. Voila. See that? Where does it go? Nobody know. Yeah. I like those because it gives you a nice contour. Setting everything up to do those and actually doing it is the hard part and is the nerve wracking and nail biting stage. But once those are done, it's satisfying. Yes, it is. It's like a levallois point. And I'm going to say this again. I've been saying this. Whenever I get one of these, the levallois points, see how straight that flake is? They're taken from the side, not from the bottom. See, in the like in Wikipedia and places, you're going to see they claim that these levallois flakes are taken from the base like this, pow, and then flaked off and then straight. When you take it from the base like that, they're curved. These flakes are curved. You have to take them from the side. Okay, so they're curved in this direction from side to side, but from tip to base, they're straight. See that? Okay. Why do I say that? I have to keep saying that because Wikipedia doesn't take down their post. It's probably going to be there forever, showing people the wrong thing. And it makes a difference because it's one of the earliest forms of Flintknapping, the Levallois technique. And learning how to do that can help you in your regular napping to thin things down. See, when you have good material, you can do stuff like that. Voila. It's getting thinner. Okay. Hold on a second. I'll check the chat here in a minute. I'm going to skip over a lot of the communication between you guys and just see if I can find questions. Yeah. Hold on. I didn't take a measurement of this before I started. I forgot. Yeah, nice. It goes past halfway. If it goes past halfway, you're thinning. Yeah. I forget that some people still don't know that. It doesn't need to be perfect, just past halfway. I keep getting messages. My phone is attached, or I have my phone on Bluetooth to the speaker out here, so I'm hearing those notifications. All right, let's see if I can get this one last thinning flake. Yes. Voila. All right, so I can check the chat. So I've got most of it cleared. All right, so it's smooth, except for a little bit of crackly right there. It doesn't need to be perfect at this stage, but as it gets thinner and thinner, it needs to be smoother and smoother. All right? All right. What did I miss? Okay, let me go way, way back. Let's see. Oh, dang. Okay, I'm recovering from last night's ER shift is where I left off, it looks like. Roy says, if I'm napping outside on the hill, I drop a hammerstone and it rolls 8 feet away, causes disruptions. Let's see. Sal says, I think it was steel. I can't remember even though it was yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. Sal's been napping with steel tools lately. Alina says, I am still surprised there are actually pure nappers somewhere and special events for them. Thousands of kilometers around, I know only a few archaeologists exist who do some knapping sometimes. Yeah, pure meaning you do, or they're doing everything with natural tools, right? Let's see. Where am I? Where am I? Let's see. AFC says, yeah, it's like watching a train wreck, except you don't get. And what? I don't know. I'm not reading some of this stuff, guys. Roy says, I want to see the angels. The angles or the angels? Let's see. Jesse says, Alina, that is why some archaeologists misclassify the tools or debitage because they don't do the knapping. There is some really cool ones who do experimental archaeology on lithics. Yeah, if you are a lithic analyst and you're not knapping and you don't have at least a little bit of proficiency in knapping, you're just regurgitating everything. Yeah. Let's see. And it takes years to appreciate the different methods that can be used to produce the same results. Now, a lot of people, when they first start analyzing lithics, they think that only certain tools can produce certain flakes. It's wrong. You need a lot of experience to know, to prove it to yourself, that there are many ways to make the same exact flake. Okay? Not in all cases, of course. You know, there are uh, some things on artifacts that can only be done with a narrow range of tools, maybe one or two different types of tools. But in the beginning stages like this, there are many, many different ways to do this. And to get bold flakes across the surface when you see bold flakes, and or to get long parallel flakes, there's, you might say, well, that's done with pressure, but there's different kinds of pressure flaking. Okay, heavy pressure, light pressure, aggressive pressure, and passive pressure. There's also levered pressure with a lever or a jig, because they probably had some kind of jigs back in the day. Or you do freehand pressure, or you can do uh, percussion assisted pressure, where you build up pressure like this. Just as an example, there's many ways to do this. You build up pressure like this, and then you tap it. That's percussion assisted pressure. So how many different pressure methods did I go over? Like 6 different pressure methods. But people say, yeah, it's just pressure flaking. No, it's not just pressure flaking. And you have to have experience to know that there's 6 different types of pressure. Okay. At least there might be something else that I missed. Uh, yeah, I missed 2 more, because there's vertical pressure, vertical percussion assisted pressure. You can hold a punch on the surface and then bear down on it with pressure and then percussion assisted. Or you can do the horizontal pressure with percussion assist. Okay. So there's 2 ways you can do that. All right. And, yada, yada, yada. There's different percussion methods, and so forth and so on. Let's see. Mike says, if you get the angle question, just give this response. It's always the angle of the dangle. Roy says, so say I go to the Nap-In in Tyrone. Is there anything I should know before showing up and risking it and going? Is there anything you should know? Yeah, bring money. Yeah, don't go without money. Okay? If you go and you're broke, uh, it's fine, right? But you're going to hate yourself if you don't bring money, because you'll go, I can't, this is for sale? Really? And it's this beautiful rock, right? You selling it? Yeah, that's what I'm here for. You mean all of these rocks are for sale? You've got like 700 pounds. Yeah. And I didn't bring my money. So that's what you should know. You're going to be dying for some of the material there. And if you don't bring your money, I'm just warning you, you're going to hit yourself on the way back. Let's see. Mike says, gonna have to get a harder bat to talk to these thumbs, maybe even a woodpecker. uh, let me see here. Where did I miss? And where's the questions? Let's see. Alan says, Ralph, I'm good. That nap set me up for the life of a day walker. What? Let's see. Mike Tuff says, I guess flint napping is kind of like going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Sometimes you get an overshot, and sometimes it's hard to predict the end of the. Tommy says, Mike, check the pawn shop or flea markets. What does that mean? Sal says, that's a pretty good piece, Patrick. I'm working on some now. They are running awesome flakes. A good piece of amoeba. I'll nap it. Oh, Sal, before I forget, if you're still listening, I got 3 people that begged me for some amoeba in the emails. Okay. I'm going to send them your email if it's okay, so that maybe they contact you and get some amoeba chert. I told them I don't sell rocks. I sell flakes in the auction once in a while, but I don't sell rocks. I don't know if you're selling any, Sal, but if you will respond in the chat, if it's okay, I'll give your information out for your channel, your email. Okay. And I'll show them your channel, give them your email. Like, yeah, and a guy just from Spain just bought both little boxes of amoeba chur flakes from me, and he was like thrilled to death that he found somebody that was selling it. Whoa. Yeah, spends a pretty penny. It was $60 to send a couple of little boxes of flakes, plus I included a couple more bifaces. 60 some odd dollars to send to Spain, and it wasn't even like 4 pounds. Wasn't even 3 pounds. And they'll buy it because they can't believe that someone's offering the amoeba chur. Sal, you could make a ton of money on that stuff if you have a good source. Let's see. Jesse says overshots on obsidian suck. Take the whole side off with a new square edge. I had just worked so hard to zigzag off in the first place. Yeah. So you zigzag it and get it all nice and even, sort of get it all nice and zigzag without a square edge, and then you start working on the other side. And if you overshoot, it takes off all that zigzag and gives you another square edge, or almost a square edge. Yeah, it gives you a weird edge anyway that you got to re-zigzag. That's what he's talking about. In case you don't know, Mike Mason says, "Thanks, y'all. I'm hoping to less than 200 shy of a grand lost on it." I guess you're talking about the kayak. Let's see. Someone said, "Are there any questions in here?" Let's see. Someone says you like the flake that I took off the biface. Let's see, you did that with brown glass the other day. How many likes does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? Let's see. I think we have a lot of lurkers today. Dr. James Dilly comes. Oops. I gotta get my. Let's see. How far am I on the battery? Hold on a second. I might have to charge my computer. Yeah, my computer's gonna die. I'll be right back. I need to get the power cord. Hold on. Okay, we got the power cord, and we're gonna save the computer here. I forgot. No, everything's falling down because everything's all bunched together so I can have them available for the live stream. That's what I get for having everything available. Come on. Okay, ready? Did it work? Is it charging? Let me see. I can't tell. Let me see. It better be charging. Yeah. Okay. Where was I? Let me see. Ralph says Dr. James Dilley comes to mind as an experimental archaeologist who flintnaps. He has a cool channel. Yeah, he's got a cool channel. But when you talk to professionals in the field of archaeology that do flintnapping, the danger that they fall into is that they nap to the narrative instead of creating a narrative from the napping. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that James Dilley, right? Yeah. I'm not saying he does that, but it's very difficult to resist it. So they've already, most um, archaeologists that I've seen that take up napping took it up after they got their degree or while they were already within the process of getting their degree, and they've already studied everybody else's writings on archaeology. And when they start napping, they nap to the narrative. Okay, so things come up like, and during the Paleo era, there was a certain type of flaking. So when they start napping, they try to go with that narrative and create a certain type of flaking for their Paleo type points. When there is no such thing as Paleo type of flaking, there's just types of flaking for each zone or area where you find artifacts. Yes. But in general, when you say paleo flaking, it's like saying archaic flaking or early woodland or late prehistoric flaking. It's not a thing because there's many different types within that period. Within all periods, there's different types of flaking. But you'll see, even in the studies, and even if they're peer reviewed, they'll regurgitate something like, well, certain time periods can be seen in the stone artifacts because that flaking was from a certain time period when there's no such thing as flaking associated with a time period. It's associated with a geographic area. Okay. Let me see here. Let's see. Patrick is popping off flakes like Tony the Tiger. Mike says, maybe I'm wrong, but if you're not taking any temperature, you're not a doctor. Yeah, the uh, the PhD doctors that got their degrees in anything except medicine. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. Let's see. Scott Lauer's here. Roy says, if they ask the angles, send them to the angels. Prairie Ghost Ken is here. I just ordered a napping kit online. Looking forward to learning. Awesome. Yeah, you will become addicted. So it's not just a learning process, it's an addictive process. And you'll have to do it. Yeah, you're just going to have to. Let's see. Prairie Ghost Ken says, do you have any suggestions for online sources of flint? Hey, there you go again. Online sources of flint. Flintknappingtraditions.com has very reasonable prices on flint. Okay, but if you send me an email, Ken, to jackcrafty2@gmail.com, I'll send you a list of of who I recommend for rock sellers, and anyone in the chat uh, that wants to respond to Ken, you better do it before the end of the live stream, or you'll miss your chance. See, these opportunities are right here in front of you. Who's got stone that they can sell to Ken? If you're not speaking up, you're missing out. Okay. See, you're being offered opportunities on a silver platter because I bet you Ken is going to buy a crap load of stone for them if you've got some good stuff. I have a feeling. But if you send me an email, I'll give you the sources that I recommend. But the first thing that comes to mind is, Danny Collins. His website is flintknappingtraditions.com. And then you go to the menu and you'll see stone or rocks for sale or whatever. You click on that and he has a bunch of them. Sells them by the pound and by the nodule, I think. Let's see. Scott Lauer says Phil Harding is another famous UK archaeologist, the team, and a flint napper. Awesome. S for Corn says Prairie Ghost Chicken. For sure we do, but we need to know what matters regarding your purchase: cost, quality, quantity, etc. Yeah. Let's see. But if someone is wanting to buy stone, just they don't need to tell us what they need because they don't know. Our job when a new person asks to buy stone is to give them all the information they don't know what to ask for. Okay? So, what I do is I just give them a lot of different sources for stone. A new guy doesn't know what to ask for. He doesn't know how much it's going to cost. He doesn't. He doesn't know his price range because he doesn't know how much the stone costs or how much this Brazilian agate costs that he saw online in a forum that someone napped something beautiful out of Brazilian agate, but they didn't say the cost. They didn't say it was only available in slabs. They didn't say it had to be heat treated after they got the shipment. Some is heat treated before by the seller, some is not. New guys don't know all this stuff, so we have to just give a bunch of information out front to them. Don't expect a new guy to give us information and be exact on what they want because they're not going to go, okay, I need Brazilian agate heat treated on the light side, slab to 3/8 of an inch thick and 3 inches long, yada yada yada. And I saw the price was $8.50 an inch, $8.50 an inch, and that's what I want to stick to. And I'm not going to go over $10 an inch. And they're not going to do that because they don't know that much information. Okay, I hope that's clear. And all that stuff I said is just a rough estimate. Don't take it as gospel. I do remember Brazilian agate heat treat slabs are pretty expensive. I don't know if they're that expensive, but you know what I mean. Roy says, can't teach my percussion, but I can teach concussions. uh, Roy says, I'm used to going to the fair broke. Yeah, I mean, you can do it, but whenever I would do that, I would just go, I would say, why did I even go? I'm so miserable now. I shouldn't have even gone. Yeah. Sell something or pawn something so you'll have some cash to go over there. Everyone has more stuff than they need, so just get rid of a bunch of your tools, the duplicate tools you've got. Let's see. Uh, what did I miss? Yeah, I missed quite a bit of the chat. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, Phil Harding is another famous UK archaeologist. I read that one. Okay. Um, does Phil have a channel? I'm not sure. Scott Lauer says, "Hey, Mike, and you guys, I have a terrible napping day. I've had a terrible napping day. Hmm. Let's see. No. Tommy Taylor says, Scott, all them posts of points didn't look terrible to me. Alina says, no, pure nappers, I meant who does napping regularly or as work and earn money by that. Okay. Experimental archaeology is good, but since specialists don't use, but such specialists don't use modern tools. Oh, I see. So pure nappers are the ones that are making a living at napping. Okay, I get you. Scott says, I just got lucky with those, Tommy. AFC says, the angle of the dangle is equally as inconsistent as is the ambient temperature that said dangling is exposed to. Science. Roy says, so I guess I'm not going to the nap in. I'm lucky enough to afford entry fee. Yeah, sometimes there's an entry fee to go to a nap in. Yep. And there's also camping fees sometimes if you want to use electrical hookups and stuff. If you have an RV. Some people like to go glamping and Flintknapping. Flamping. If you flintnap while glamping, you're doing some flamping. Yeah. Tommy says, got to go, got to go, mom coming out of Dr. Seal. Oh, okay, you're at a doctor appointment. Sal says, oh, yes, he's gone now and we can talk smack. Yeah. If you leave the chat, we can, it's a fair game. We're going to talk smack about you. Yeah. Let's see. Mike Mason says, Showtime about to face off with a mouthy Doberman. Oh, dang. Tommy Taylor says, well, not gone yet. She got to have a blood work now so I can see this smack talk. Okay, who are we going to talk smack about? Let me see. Sal says, I can probably fill a couple small flat rate boxes with flakes, but here soon I will be making a run, hopefully to gather more. Okay, so Sal's got a couple boxes of flakes, small flat rate boxes of flakes. Just email Sal, um, look for his channel. I mean, you click on this little icon that he's chatting with, and that's his channel, Blades and Points by SGP. Blades and Points by SGP has a couple of boxes of the amoeba chert flakes. Roy says, I don't know why I was thinking they provided napping material for free at the Nappins. Sometimes they do. Yeah. They can, I mean, they've got piles of flakes everyone's getting rid of. You can use that for free. But they also sometimes have rock that's not that great for new guys to experiment with it. But you're going to want money because you're going to see stone that you want to make something special out of. And you want to see if you can sell it and make some money. Right? Or no one's interested in making money with the Flintknapping? Let's see. Ralph says, Prairie Ghost, you're in the right place to learn Flintknapping. Most of us have YouTube channels. It's an amazing journey with great folks. Yes, yes. AFC says, Tommy, tell her I'm sorry for being so rough. Send me the doctor bill. Oh, dang. Huh. Mike says, Roy, it's not uncommon to find generous people at Nappins. Yeah. You can get free material at Nappins. I don't know if I gave you the wrong impression. Let's see. Ed Gould says, Danny has one fine woman for a mother. Saw a picture of her with a dowd bear and some hounds. AFC says, they were asking for suggestions. My bad. Roy says, finding stone is great for people with no income. Yeah, definitely. But you need gas money. Roy says, buying stone, not so much. Yeah. Ralph says, Snyder, I agree 100%. Paleo archaic napping, I think it's just napping that gets the desired results. Yeah, and there's various different napping techniques and flake scar patterns and different things as far as technologies, and they call them material cultures in every time period. They separate them arbitrarily. There really isn't a set, very crisp defining line between these different periods, paleo and archaic and late prehistoric as examples, or pre-Clovis. Uh, they're not delineated very precisely. Although they try to do it, they run into problems trying to get these time periods nailed down. But um, it doesn't stop them from trying. Yeah, and it messes them up. I still until I still don't trust archaeology until they fix this projectile point stuff. They still call everything a projectile point that looks sharp and pointy. Okay, not all of them were projectiles or put onto projectiles. Okay, so they got to stop calling these things projectile points. In any case, They might be projectile points, but you can't just say it's pointy and it's got a hafting area, so it's a projectile point. And when they fix that, then I'll start to take them seriously. Yeah. Let me see. No. Patrick, you got to get some Mongo-sized double X crafty shirts. If so, I want one. Jesse, I've got merch now on Teespring, or it's just now called Spring. Uh, there is a link. It's for some reason I can't put a store up now. It hasn't cleared all the hurdles yet. I've got a store on Teespring with merch now. I've got like 4 items, and I did this last night. Okay, send me a message in the comment section, and I'll give you a link to my store, my merch store. I got 4 items on Teespring, 2 different kinds of T-shirts that are short sleeve. One is like premium cotton, the other was regular, and then I've got the long sleeve tee and a mug, like a coffee mug. And I did that all last night. Stayed up late trying to figure out how to get that done. And it just says Crafty Napper on the left side on the t-shirts, and the mug says Crafty Napper on it too. But that store is just preliminary. I plan on putting fancy designs in there eventually. But for now, just very simple stuff. Okay, so I'm going to be putting links to my store in the comment sections on Teespring. Yeah. And then you can order different colors, whatever color I have. I've got like a choice of 5 different colors for the shirts and stuff. All righty. Someone gave me $5, a super chat. Who was that? Keith? I think I recognize your picture. So yeah, Jesse, you can order a shirt now. And I think Jesse gave me $5. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Scott Lauer says, Pat, I've been sorting your box today of bullhead. You're only going to get 4 kilograms as it's so expensive now to send anything to the States. Yeah, it is. No worries. You can just send a little bit. Doesn't matter. Roy says, I see the vision there. Yeah, it's easy to fall in love with stone. You pass by Florida, it was like $50 gator skulls and giant amethyst crystals. It says they didn't even have computers much when I first started Flintknapping. Yeah, I see. Yep. That's a long time ago. I didn't know you were napping for that long, Ed. Let's see. Where am I? Ralph says it's better to start napping on small flakes before working bigger pieces. Is it better? Yes, it's better. Well, I recommend working on small pieces. In case you don't know, you probably know this already, but small points are a different mindset than large points, and medium points are a different mindset than either one of those two. Well, how do I break up these different sizes? There's no fine, exact defining line. Let's say points that are 2 inches and under are a different mindset from points that are 3 to 6 inches, and the points that are 7 inches and longer are a different mindset than the middle one, 3 to 6 inches. They're totally different mindsets. Okay. But I still say start with the small ones because you have a lot more material to work with. Okay. And then when you get to the bigger material, you're going to whittle it down to a small piece anyway. But at least when you get to the small piece, you'll be able to make something. So if you start small and then you graduate to bigger pieces and you break them all up and make mistakes and snap them in half, at least you have experience making the small points, right? Some guys, They say, no, I'm starting 6 inches and longer. That's it. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I know that at least I'll get something out of it. The bigger it is, the more chances I'll get something out of it. But it's just the opposite. If you start big and you don't realize that as you get smaller, it's a whole different mindset, you're not going to get anything from the big piece except a lot of heartache that you spent all that money on the big piece and not on free stuff like the flakes. So it's one of the drawbacks of new guys getting into this. They think that that kind of logic works when flint knapping, where it's not like other crafts. There's an element of risk and there's different mindsets. Okay, it's a different game. Flint knapping is a sport with many sub sports. Little flakes are a separate sport than medium size. I mean, little points are a subset. They're a different mindset and a different sport than the whole thing of flint knapping. Flint knapping is a sport, but there are sub sports. There's the little points, there's the medium points, and then there's big points. And then there's slab points. And then there is really, really tough materials like quartzite and rhyolite, different mindset. And then there's very fine, extremely nice materials like the highest grade heat treats and obsidians, totally different mindset. Then there's glass, that's another mindset. Okay? New guys don't know any of this. And sad to say, many archaeologists don't know that either. Did I rant long enough? Let's see. Jesse says, I made my first TikTok napping video today. Still working on a YouTube channel. I hate how YouTube won't let you add any artist music. Yeah. Well, you can add it. It just, you need to look for the copyright free stuff, but you got to still give the credits to the artist. I just not deleted, I uninstalled TikTok from my phone because it was driving me nuts. You know, half the posts or half the notifications I was getting were just spammers and girls asking for money. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Jesse says, yeah, so many were knives, not points. That's true. So many of the artifacts are actually knives. Uh, Roy says, I don't have enough experience to nap basic cost worthy stone. Too, so garbage flakes work for me. I'm here to learn, not to do mentality. There you go. Frodo Joe's here. He's tardy. Yeah, you're. It's already an hour and a half into the live stream. First time in 3 days it stopped raining. Well, we had a good storm here uh, just before the live stream. It downpoured on us for about 30 minutes. So, but we didn't get steady rain. We just getting overcast. We're just getting the clouds. I meant. Yeah, Keith gave me $5. I try to make money doing this, but Sal won't buy my marbles. Yeah, eventually the goal is at least you should be making enough money to cover your habit, right? So sell some of your stuff to cover the cost of the stone because it's getting expensive. Yeah, and if you can find free stone, that's even better because then you make even more profit. And people will buy it because not everyone has patience to make stuff out of stone, and it's pretty cool stuff. Let's see. Mike Mason says, Roy, go to the bar and ask for empty liquor bottles, especially colorful ones. Get your practice in. Yeah. My suggestion is only colorful bottles from bars and stuff. Don't get clear glass bottles. They don't nap nearly as well as the colored glass bottles. Okay. Just be aware. And the darker the color, the better it naps, as a general rule. Um, let's see. Roy says, I'm listening while I peel potatoes. You're peeling potatoes? Sal says, he's talking to Keith here. I told you to sell them to the competition marble players. Trust me, if you just listen and maybe you can paint little numbers on there. hmm Get creative there. All right. Yeah. Keith is the legendary marble maker. hmm Let me see. Ed says, my first mobile phone was a thing they called the brick. Oh, I remember those. Yeah. My first mobile phone was a pager. We used to wear little pagers on our belts for work. And you could you pick it up and there's a little text.
That's so cool. We got a text. Isn't that cute? Yeah. I won't text back. Yeah, I won't text back. See the little texts? It's so cool.
Mm. And then we had flip phones. One of the first phones I had was a flip phone, and they were kind of cool. They're much smaller than the phones now, and I actually still have. I think I have one of my original phones. I still had the original flip phone from many years ago, and used to be able to destroy the phone easily. But now you can smash the phone and it can still be tracked. Yeah. Hey, Jim Cooper's here. When did you get here? You got here 6 minutes ago? Yep, I'm behind on the chat. Keith says, Keith, yeah, Keith says, my son says, what the heck is a bag phone? LMAO. I don't know what a bag phone is. Am I missing something? Dawn, oh, Gary's here. I made it. How did that rock turn out? It turned out okay.
Yeah, but show it to us. See how it is.
I'm not going to show it. Well, this was the heat treated, uh, really rough thing. Now, I can use it as a hand axe. Yeah. What were these hand axes used for in the past? An archaeologist might tell you that this is for cracking bone, getting into the bones, and maybe being a scavenger of carcasses. Crack the bone for the marrow. Let's see. Should I talk smack about that? You know how to crack a bone to get the marrow out, right? No, you don't know how to crack a bone to get the marrow out. Let's say this is a rock, just a smooth rock from the river, and here's the bone. You just go, and it breaks the bone apart, and you can get the marrow out. But archaeologists will say, no, these hand axes were used to explore carcasses and crack them open, get the marrow with this. You know what happens when you hit bone with stone? Every flint napper knows that it naps the stone when you do that. So you get chips all over the place. How long does something last if you're going to be hitting with something that naps it? 20 seconds? That nice big point that you got on there? 20 seconds gone if you're going to be chipping bone or trying to crack into bone to get the marrow. 20 seconds. 1, 2, ting. 1, 2, 3. No more tip. Or big, huge gouge taken out of the side. Okay? So what were they used for, these things? And most hand axes are small. And then people go, no, I've seen big ones. I said most, okay? If you look, most of them are small. If you look at the preponderance, they like the word preponderance. The preponderance of evidence will show you that the hand axes are small. There are some really big ones. Okay, so I'm dancing around the bush.
What is it for? What is it for then, Smarty Pants?
These were weapons. Okay, a hand axe is a weapon. Okay, let's say you've got this or you've got this. Who's got the upper hand, so to speak? Pun intended. The guy that does this, armed this way or armed this way. Who's got the upper hand, so to speak? Pun intended. You're right. The guy that with the sharp rock in his hand. It's a weapon. Humans have been making weapons since the beginning of humanity. That's part of who we are. We are predators of predators. Okay? That's who we are. So the hand axes are weapons. Okay. But no one believes me. It's okay. You don't need to believe me. Just try it for yourself. Get into a fight, right? Or pretend and go, okay, who's gonna fight me? Hmm. Are you gonna bring rocks to a rock fight? Or are you gonna bring fists to a rock fight? Hmm? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Jim Cooper says hello. Yep, I saw that one already. Let's see. Uh, okay, what did I miss? Not sunny out. What breezy? Oh, let's see. Mike Mason says, I tried to get us a new one here today, maybe another time. Commented on one of my shorts, says they are trying napping. They can make them pointy and ugly. Everyone starts out pointy and ugly as far as napping goes. Everybody. There are exceptions. I've seen guys that pick it up like that. And young people, like I've seen very young people pick up flint napping in a couple of weeks and they're already making little pendants and stuff and making arrowheads that'll fit on arrow shafts, thin enough to fit on the arrow shaft. Yeah, it's kind of like if you have athletic ability combined with artistic ability, those two you could do well with napping. As long as you're not set in your ways, like some nappers that have been napping for 20, 30 years, and they finally see indirect percussion, they go, I might try that if I need to, but I got my styles. I don't need it. If I think that I'm going to get into some trouble, I'll use indirect. You're missing a whole world of opportunity. Yeah, but that's what can you do? I'm biased anyway. Let's see. Let's see. See, Ed Gould says ours you plugged into the cigar lighter in your car or had a battery pack to slide onto the phone. Oh, those bricks. Yeah, those original cell phones, you could plug them into the cigarette lighter. I remember when cigarette lighters actually worked. When you pushed the cigarette lighter in, and it popped back out, and then you took it out, and it was red hot. You could, and we call them. I never called them a cigar lighter, but you could light. Yeah, I suppose you could light cigars with them. Let's see. Let's see. Fertile Joe Bushy says, I just stopped here. Lawn looks like hell. Yeah, my lawn is getting overgrown. I just put some mulch out because man, the weeds are they're starting to come in fast. Jim Cooper says, a Jim is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when his ADHD allows him to. I know that's true. How do I know about ADHD? I don't know. Ed Gould says, and they were the size of a brick and they had an antenna on the top. Yeah, I remember those. Scott Lauer says, Ed Gould, ours was like a briefcase. No joke. Yeah. Dan is here. Hey, Jack, I'm learning how to flint nap inspired by channels like yours and Freeze Cracked. Have you ever seen any of these Freeze Cracked videos? Oh, yeah. I've napped with Jerry before. And I got corrected. Jerry has had some health issues. That's why he's not attending nap-ins or doing videos. He's got some health issues. Okay, so but he's still with us. And yeah, I've watched many of freeze Freeze Crack's videos. His name's Jerry, and I've actually napped with him at a nap in, two nap ins. We went. I was fortunate enough. I think we were at two nap ins together, at least maybe three. Mike Mason says, Ed, don't forget they likely have all the cancers. Who's this? Let's see. Ed says he still has two of those phones, the old phones. Okay. Uh, Let me see. I'm going back to see what I missed. Okay, I've read that one. Uh, Frodo Joe or Bushy says, Dan, we all watched Freeze Crack. I napped with him once. Yeah, Jerry was, I think he attended Letchworth nap-ins. Let's see. AFC says, girls asking for money on TikTok. Yeah, let me find out. They're trying to make Dr. Pat a pay pig. Good on you for not being a duck, sir. Yeah, some of this stuff I see on TikTok is just, I don't know. They're crazy. They're even more crazy than normal social media on TikTok. Yeah, I think that's where the real crazies and real psychos hang out. I just uninstalled it from my phone. No, I don't want any part of that. Uh, Joe, Joe Rodewald or Rodewald. Thanks for the great videos, Crafty. I'm a new napper, fortunate to live in southwest Idaho, so lots of good material here. Hey, yeah, good to see you. And in case you don't know, if you have access to lots of material, you can sell some of it and pay for your habit. Yeah, okay. Everybody, Joe's brand new. He's got lots of material. I laugh because you know what's going to happen, right? Yeah. Don't give out your email, Joe. Not yet, anyway. As for Corn says, Dan, yeah, we know him. I met him talking about Freeze Cracked. Met him and napped a while with him years ago. He was fun. Yeah. Let's see. Gary says he still uses a flip phone. You still use that sucker? Dang. Dan says I had a Motorola Razor. I've had all kinds of phones. Some of them provided by work and some of them weren't. I actually had a BlackBerry at one time provided by my job. They said, "You want a BlackBerry?" What? I've already eaten dinner. Sorry. No, a BlackBerry phone, dummy. You gonna give me a BlackBerry phone? No, I'm not gonna give you a BlackBerry phone. It's for work, and you're not supposed to do anything else but work on it. You want it? Yeah, I want it. But that was the beginning of the addiction to cell phones. I have not been without one since. I can't be without it. I do actually get anxiety if I don't have it within 3 feet of me. It's terrible. Yeah. Let's see. Jesse says, in the beginning, I wasted several $100s trying to thin down a boulder instead of just knocking off spalls and working the spalls. I recommend napping flakes or spalls in the beginning. Very good. See, someone who knows. Jesse knows. Sal says, yeah, I have a couple of those Motorola Razr flip phones in the junk drawer. Dang it. I do have, I don't know if I have a Motorola. I can't remember the brand name. Jim Cooper says, I was having a cigar with my dad. Awesome. I never had a cigar with my dad. He didn't smoke at all. Never had a drink with my dad, although I didn't get to know him until I was in my 30s. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 5 years old, and I saw my dad maybe 3 times between the ages of 5 years old and 20 years old. 3 or 4 times I saw my dad. I didn't get to see him much until after I started having kids, and I wanted the kids to see their granddad. So that's when we started talking more. But I never had a drink with him or a cigar with him, although he did drink occasionally. Let's see. Why did I mention that? I don't know. Frodo Joe says, Gary, I'm trying to upload a short now on my antlers and moose billets, but my videos suck. I've seen your videos, Bushy. They're not that bad. Come on. Ralph says, Jesse, I hear you. Music would be nice in my videos. Yeah, you can. There's a lot of royalty free and copyright free music on YouTube. You just got to make sure you copy and paste the link to the channel that you're using the music from. And there's copyright free music, but it doesn't. It sounds like elevator music a lot of times. You just got to look around. Yeah.
What's elevator music?
Don't worry about it. You worry too much. It's just something that us fogies, us boomers, it's a nickname. Let's see. Joe says late 80s, early 90s bag phones were big. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I didn't get a cell phone until 98 or 90, 97, 98. David says, do you still put a lot of detail on your tips of points? Big, medium, small? Yes. Do you still put a lot of detail on your tips? Yeah, I'm very persnickety with the tips of the points that I make. The very tip of the tips. Yeah. Dan says, what about digging? What about digging? You think these Handaxes were used for digging? Is that what you're thinking? Why would you ruin your weapon trying to dig a hole when there's such things as called digging sticks? You don't know what a digging stick is? Well, you probably don't know what a rabbit stick is, and you don't know what dispatch stick is for dispatching game within traps. Yeah. Don Gary says those were used for door stoppers. Yeah. Why don't you use a hand axe for digging? Why? Because if you hit a rock when you're digging, guess what happens? It's no longer a hand axe. I laugh because you just don't trust me. Just do it. Go out and start digging with your hand axe, and let's see what happens. Film it so that we can all enjoy what happens. Okay? Just try it. Don't take my word for it. And find a carcass. Like go ask one of your hunting buddies after he's gutted and cleaned and took the good meat off of the deer carcass, and he says, ask him, can I have that carcass? The bones? Sure, take it, man. I was going to dump it anyway in the dumpster because I'm going to use my hand axe on it. I'm going to get all the marrow out. Do it. Do it and film it so we can all see what it looks like after you try to get that marrow out. Don't take my word for it. Just do it. You'll see. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Ask for Corn says, I had a bag phone for years. Say what you will, but that old thing ran on 6 volts and got way better service than the Nicoya brick that replaced it. I've never had a bag phone. This is the first time I've heard of that. Ask for Corn says, the receiver doubled as a legit club if you needed an in-cab weapon. I believe it. Bushy says, I might have been banned again. I use profanity when I talk about the Russians. You've been banned on the chat? So Ask for Corn says he's going to throw a poop if he gets into a rock fight. Go ahead, man. Do it. You're just going to get everyone more angry. Yeah. Jesse says, Patrick needs to puff on one of those stogies while he naps a point. Yeah, you got to see me at a nap in because that's what I do. Ask for Corn says, chemical warfare. Yeah, back in the day, slinging poop like a bunch of monkeys, right? Chemical warfare. No, it doesn't phase the monkeys, and it wouldn't have phased us either. Even though it's nasty, when you're in a fight, that's not going to stop you. Ralph says, going down a flint napping rabbit hole, I think about looking for glass Clorox bleach bottles in the farm dump at my aunt's property. Yeah, go look at your aunt's property or aunt's property and get some Clorox bottle bottoms. They're excellent. Jim Cooper says, seems like a heavy stick would be better option and easier to obtain. I've always read about them being used for wood shaping. Let's see. Oh, wood shaping. These are for wood shaping? No. Um, wood shaping is much better done with something like this, with just a little bit broken off the end. Yeah. Just one little or two flakes taken off the end is much better for wood shaping than something that's napped like this. Now, can this be used as a weapon? Yeah, but it's a little bit like just picking up a regular rock. If you've got more of an edge, it's a little more versatile. If you got more of an edge around the outside, it's more versatile. In case that's what you're asking about. Bushy says, Ralph, I have an old town dump on my property. You should see all the old glass. Yep. If you guys have old glass dumps, I would recommend definitely go look through those. Wear gloves, of course, and bring a digging stone. See what it works. See how it works. Okay, I'll stop making fun. Let's see. Scott Lauer says, fists to a rock fight or rocks to a rock fight. Best explanation I've heard. Perfect. Alina says, there is a way to define exactly what tools were used for technology expertise. It needs to make cope of tool, do experimented job for some time, and then check new tool and old tool under a microscope. Yeah, you can do that. You can do comparative analysis and what they call experimental archaeology. Yeah, it can reveal some interesting things. But just keep in mind there's more than one way to produce an effect on a stone. There's more than one way. There's not just one way to produce an effect on the stone. Even though it looks like it was used to do something like cut, there's more than one way to produce the effect of cutting on stone. They may have not been sawing it back and forth. They may have been. There's different ways to hold it, like this, or you can embed it in something and then rub the object on the edge like that. Okay? Two totally different ways of using the stone that produce the same effect. Right? Or no? Just keep in mind, right? Two ways to saw something. As an example, this is one example out of hundreds of different things. You can take an arrow shaft and you can cut it to length like this, holding it and cutting, or you can embed this in something and move the stick like that and cut it. Okay? It produces the same effect, but there's two different ways to do it. Just as an example, there's hundreds of examples of that kind of thing. So don't, I see a lot of archaeologists put blinders on. Don't put blinders on. Let me see here. Okay. Jesse says, I think multi-purpose tool on the hand axes, digging, chopping, etc. Even the flaked axes were ground to something and prevent chipping, like you are saying. I also think protection with the saber-toothed tigers. Take a look at it, as far as protecting yourself from a wild animal. If you look, I've just seen so many videos. I take it for granted that everyone's have watched thousands and thousands of videos, but not everyone has. The way you protect yourself from a wild animal is with a long stick. The longer the better. Okay. and you can keep an animal at bay with a long stick. Because I've seen uh, uh, hunters in Africa that use primitive methods. They always carry these big long sticks. What are they used for? They're just dull, right? And sometimes they're really wobbly. But the big long sticks are to protect yourself from predators. Okay, and if you get a bunch of guys around and you got these big long sticks and you're poking the predator, if it gets close and you start smacking the predator on the head with these long sticks, it will go away. Okay, you don't need this. In fact, it's stupid to defend yourself from a predator with this. Okay, unless it's another human. Even if it's another human, it's best to use a long stick as well. Just sharpen it on one end. But yeah, I would not use if I had the rock that's chips nicely is hard to find. You would not use it as a multi-tool. I've figured this out already over years of using rocks for tools. It really, if you're out in camping, let's just say, just go on a camping trip and take one of these with you and use it for everything. How long does it last you? 3 days, 4 days? If you chop wood, skin, hides, uh, let's say that you do all kinds of things with it. How long does it last? And how long do you think it will take you to get another piece like that? Okay. Can you imagine being back in the day having to walk 200 miles to get the stone you need, and then you're going to come back to camp and you're going to use it for everything, and it's going to be used up in a few days? No, that's not the way you use stone. But you don't need to take my word for it. Just try it. I've learned over time that, yeah, it can be used for many, many things, those hand axes, but they, in my opinion, okay, they just had specialized uses for them. Like if I need a weapon, and I said, okay, I'm going to use this as a weapon. It's kept in my pouch, and then when I need a weapon, I can take it out and I'll have a weapon. Okay, I'm not going to use it for digging or cutting grass or thatching my hut or cutting cordage or gutting fish or conking the rabbits over the head. No, this is my weapon that I'm going to use when I get into a fight. Okay, and it's probably going to have a nice tip on it, so that if I have to, I can slice, and et cetera, et cetera. And you can flip it around, and one side's a skull cracker, and the other side is a cutter. That kind of thing. But you keep it separate so that it is your go-to weapon. Everything else can be done with flakes. Let's see. Let's see. Jesse says there were crazy mean animals, cave bears, etc. Yeah. Hey, Robbie Bobby is here. Hello, everybody. Let's see. I'm late on the chat. I got to try to catch up. It's almost the end of the live stream too. We got 5 minutes. I'm gonna try to catch up. I've been talking about stuff on the side and digressing. Let's see. Sal says I was trolling some of those hot girls on YouTube, saying, "Oh, all I have to do is take off my shirt and I'll get a bunch of views." Yeah. Bushy says, R. Snyder, my dump is 1940 to 1950, but I have 3 old foundations on my land. Found some good stuff there. Awesome. Let's see. I'm going to skip over some of this stuff. Alina says, Jesse Para, best protection against such beasts as a spear to keep fangs and claws as far as possible. Oh, yeah. Robbie says, I ordered a 1¼ inch solid copper bopper and was sent a 1½ inch. I thought it was big. So did it work okay? Did it work okay? Joe Roadwald says, move to Idaho. Sal says, no, they post videos on YouTube so you can find their other links. Oh, yeah. these girls that make money just by exposing themselves, yeah, they'll tease you with the video, and then there are a bunch of links to some other stuff. Yeah. hmm Ed says, I just got my second new something flip phone from Consumer Cellular. Is that what you're trying to say? Sal says, I'm not leaving Texas. I guess no rocks, but I live in the great country of Texas. There's a bunch of rocks here. Yeah. So there's a bunch of rocks in Idaho. Is that what you're saying? Let's see. Joe says, obsidian cavities, jaspers, agates, opals. It's all out here on the ground in Idaho. Okay. That sounds awesome. Bushy says, back in the 90s, I thought cell phones would never go. I laughed at them. I was wrong. Oh, yeah. If you laughed at them, you're definitely, yeah, they've really taken over our lives for sure. Scott says, Jesse, I left a biface handaxe I made on a trail. About 3 months later, I found it in a camp. Some kids had been using it for chopping roots and stuff. They knew nothing about the Stone Age. Ralph says, those Ice Age people had to be tough and smart in order to survive amongst all those scary creatures. Yeah, but what's strange um, is that animals that are predators, they're very wary. Okay, they don't attack just anything. So unless it depends on the season too, right? But unless you have a particularly mean animal, most of the large creatures, even today, lions and tigers and grizzly bears and polar bears are wary at first. Okay, they don't go straight after you. So probably the same back in the day. As long as you had a good posture about yourself and didn't show weakness, the predator, when it examines you, will determine if it wants to go and attack you or not based on how you're reacting to its presence. It may charge you to see how you react. If you run, it says, "Okay, this is easy. This is gonna be a piece of cake." But if you don't run, they're like, why isn't he running? He's got something up his sleeve there, so I'm gonna walk around and see what he's got. What's he got? What's he got? And if you got a stick and you keep him at bay with a stick, he's gonna go. I can't even get close. That's what he's got up his sleeve. Yeah, I want to go for something that's gonna run away. Yeah. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Joe says Texas has a good rocks too. Georgetown Flint is awesome. Yeah, Georgetown Flint is a mixed bag though. If you can get the good stuff, you'll be doing okay. But Georgetown sometimes has or Georgetown is sometimes poor quality. All right. After I finish reading up or catching up with the chat, I'm going to end the live stream here. So everyone's asked your questions. You've got like 1 minute. Let's see. Ralph says, "Cool, Scott. Humans have that instinct to use items for tools." Yeah. Let's see. Sal says, "Yeah, Joe. I bought some before, and of course, the stuff I bought, not being funny, was hard as rock. That was before I knew about heat treating. Yeah, heat treating is a game changer." Mike says, "I don't worry about the scary animals. I run with skunks." TJ is here. Hey, what's up? You're a little bit late, TJ. I'm going to cut the live stream here. I was trying to catch up with the chat and then got distracted talking about other stuff. Best elevator music song, The Girl from the Empanema. Heard it all the time as a kid. I don't know what that is. Benito is here. Hi, it's been a while since I saw you. Yeah, good to see you. Yep, but I'm going to have to say goodbye in a few minutes. hmm Let me see here. Da, 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 da. Why do I talk about scary animals and stuff like that? I've had a lot of experience with dogs of different types, attack dogs. Not, not serious encounters with dogs, but I used to install cable TV, and I've had other jobs where I had to deal with dogs. And um, if you maintain a certain posture, they don't mess with you. The same with wild animals. The only wild animals that were scary that I've encountered, just coyotes, a couple times, but they were wary. I've never encountered a bear in the wild or anything like a mountain lion or anything like that. But I would treat them the same as a dog that is trained to go after you, which means you don't show a weakness, okay, and you have to have some sort of weapon on you that you can get to the predator at a distance, okay. That's why humans develop projectile weapons, because the predator is going to keep a little bit of a distance first, and if you can bridge that distance and hit the predator before he comes at you, then you've won. Yeah. Same with a dog, okay. But with dogs, since you don't want to hurt the dog, you put something between. You make sure there's something between you and the dog that puts up a barrier, or a quick escape. But if you just stand your ground, a lot of times they don't immediately attack you. They just kind of, mm, and then they'll attack if they're trained to do so. Then you're in trouble. I've never been bit seriously, but it's been close. Let's see, Pat. The sawmill up the road is cutting me up some bow staves, says Bushy, from a clean, hard maple. How deep should they be? Then I can thin them on my bandsaw. Hard maple, make sure you get the. It doesn't matter how deep it is. Um, just get them all with the grain, because if you cut across the grain, let's say the trunk has a twist in it. If you cut straight, you're going to cut through the twist, and it's not going to make a good bow. You got to split the wood with something like with wedges or something. Any depth is good to answer your question. It just every tree is different, so I can't say exactly what's going to be best. All right. Scott says, I thought it was great, Jesse. They'd never seen one, but we're just using it as a multi tool in their camp. Okay, talking about the kids using the stone tool. All right. Ben says, love the content. Thank you. Thank you. Ed says, have you ever heard someone say there's absolutely nothing in the record that was the way the they were used? I don't know. Rez Tyson, hello. How's it going? It's good to catch another live stream. Yeah, I'm glad you made it. Um, I stopped napping a while ago because I'm looking at the chat, and I'm just about to close out the live stream. So you missed most of it. But the live streams are from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays. Let's see. Ask for Corn says, you know what though? Only half joking here, but regarding throwing poop or other projectiles, we Homo sapiens are superior throwers compared to our closest ape cousins. Yep, we do have that ability to. We have good aim. Ed says, "Hey everyone, I stepped up and bought some items in the auction again. Bring some money next week." He's watch out for Ed. They call him. They don't call him E money for nothing. Ask for Corn says, we have the shoulder joint that allows the almighty overhand throw. Of course, a chimp can throw way harder than us, but if you watch them, they are bad at throwing shit. Yeah, not very accurate. Ask for Corn says, they have to do this wonky sidearm fling motion, and their accuracy is abysmal. Yeah. Keith says, people who got here kind of late, make sure to hit the like button. Yep. Scott says, AFC, I reckon I have chimp DNA then. Jim Cooper says, I'm going to put some of the basalt from my area in your box so you can see how fun it is to nap. And then fun of recovering from a broken wrist after you try to nap it. Gee, thanks. It sounds like a lot of fun. David Blaylock is here. I'm late, but I hit it on my way in. Yeah, it's about to end though. Let's see. Ralph says, yes, hit the like button. Raptor Jesus, do you have any quartz points you could throw us sometime? Could show us sometime. Quartz points. No, I don't have any made up. I've got some Tallahassee quartzite that I'm going to be napping. Just gotta keep. You had to keep reminding me to nap quartz. I don't have any to show you right now. I just have one on an arrow. Let's see. Mhm. It's just a triangle quartz point on an arrow. Okay, there's no stem on this one. It's just a triangle. Okay, that was very difficult quartz to nap. It's actually driveway gravel quartz. Uh, in my dad's other house, he had a driveway with gravel that was like I guess an inch to inch and a half, the big gravel for driveways, and some of it there was quartz in there. So I took a couple of those gravel stones and napped some points. But that's all I could get out of it. It's just little triangles. But there's different varieties of quartz, and some of it's good to nap, and some of it's well, most of it's not good. But yeah, just remind me, and I'll try to do it. It says, "See you later, Patrick, and everyone else on Friday." Yep, the next live stream is on Friday. We get the chat back and forth, and I might make a video or two before then. We'll see, but it won't be live. Okay. Let's see. AFC says Scott Lauer. Why? Because you throw. Okay. All right. Let's see. Kirsten. Hey, Jack. Greetings from Germany. Hey. I have some problems with the napping and sent you an email where I defined my problem. I didn't find any nappers in Germany, so I hope you can help me. Oh, yeah, there's nappers in Germany, but uh, I'll refer you to the channels. Just make sure you sent the email to jackcrafty2@gmail.com, right? Because I don't know if you sent emails before today. Okay, that one. I just got that one. Okay, good. I see that one. I see that you did send me that, so I'll answer your email. I'll have to do some research on nappers in Germany, but there's at least two different channels on YouTube that are from nappers in Germany. I'll try to find the links and send you those links. Okay. Bushy says, see everybody. See you, everybody. Kirsten, I love your channel, and I'm sure you have the knowledge to help me. Great work, man. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, Ferdo Joe says, Kirsten, we'll all help you here. So everyone in the chat will help you. Yeah, we'll figure this out and find you some people to nap with in Germany or wherever you are. Germany in this case, yes. But there are guys from Spain. There's a guy that sends me rock that lives in Denmark, and Scott Lauer is from the UK. We got people all over Europe. All right. Yep. Everyone said goodbye. The live stream's supposed to have ended at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's going a little bit longer. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Dalton is here. Hey Patrick, I made it. I was out fishing with my daughter. Everyone, there's like 10 of you guys that have come in at the last minute. Let's see. Buckskin or Marty says, thanks for opening that KRF on the live stream. You made me and my son's day. Well, thank you for sending it. This is awesome. This stuff is awesome. This is what he's talking about. The KRF is Knife River Flint. Yeah, awesome stuff. Yep, cool, cool. He sent a whole box. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. Buckskin NYB. That's what he's talking about. You missed it in the beginning of the live stream. Ralph says everything is better with coffee. Yeah, and I've been drinking some coffee that someone sent me that's like a low acid coffee. It's actually pretty good. I haven't had any reactions yet. Mike says, "Take care, everyone. Thanks for the live stream." Oh, you're welcome. All righty. I'm almost to the end. Kirsten says, "Thank you so much." Field gear. Wait, new live on Friday. I'm getting co- uh, confirmated on Friday, and also greetings from Norway. So field gear. My live stream on Fridays is 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. You might be able to make it if you're still up. It'll be late for you, very late for you on Friday. Harley's here. Have a good one, Patrick. I like the new background. Well, thanks. This is just makeshift and temporary. I just got some curtains, but I think they're too dark, so everything gets washed out if it's too light. But this one seemed to be okay. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get a better studio. But this is permanent. I don't have to move any of this stuff anymore, so it'll be good. Hopefully. Delta says, "At least I showed." Yeah, you showed up, but you showed up toward the end of the live stream. Everyone's saying goodbye already. Alrighty, that's it. I caught up with the chat. So, uh, yeah, once again, the next live stream is Friday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. I do 3 live streams a week: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday's live stream is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in Vermont, USA. Wednesday's live stream is 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And Friday's live stream is 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? And Wednesday is the only day I do napping. So I did some flint napping in the beginning of the live stream. I did these 2 things, and I was also napping on some of this Knife River flint. Just barely. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you everybody for participating. Thanks for all the questions. Field Gear says, by the way, any tips on how to make low quality chert arrowheads and spearheads? My whole channel. Yeah, there you go. If you look up Jack Crafty Rock Challenge, okay, Jack Crafty Rock Challenge as a search on YouTube, you can see me napping lots of low quality stuff. Okay? Can't wait till Friday. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on Friday. Thank you for stopping by. And thanks for all the entertaining comments and questions. All righty? We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.